The other thing that I mentioned earlier in this unit was the term humus. And even though we've briefly discussed humus, I want to kind of summarize that perhaps a little bit more. Humus is that part of the organic material in the soil that imparts a very dark coloration to the soil. It consists of highly realtered and resynthesized and finely divided organic materials. It also consists of the living microorganisms that are all a part of this organic matter cycle. It is so highly decomposed and finely divided that we're no longer going to be able to recognize the material from which it was derived. It is also so finely divided that it actually coats the mineral particles in the soil. Why is this an important component of the organic material? Well, it is in the humus where most of the reserved nutrients are stored, especially the nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. Humus also has residual negative charges on its surface. Now, I know we haven't talked about the charge relationships in the soil yet, but for now, let's say that negative charges in the soil, which are found not only on the humus particles, but also on some of the mineral particles, especially the clay, are very instrumental in attracting and holding nutrients in that soil and then later releasing them to plants that grow in that soil. So humus contributes greatly to not only the inherent fertility of the soil, but also the ability of that soil to hold nutrients and release those nutrients to plants for growth and development. So because of that, we've got an important function for humus in the soil. Well, now that we have a basic understanding of humus, this kind of completes the circle on the organic matter cycle in the soil. We've looked at the organisms that exist in this soil, put them into some general categories, talked about their importance and the role they have in breaking down this organic material and cycling nutrients through. We've also looked at the general composition of these plant materials or residues that are being added to the soil and how that changes as we realter and resynthesize these into the humus portion of the soil. Humus, again, is an extremely important portion of the soil. Not only does it impart that dark coloration, it has important physical and chemical attributes in the soil. From a physical standpoint, it helps promote good soil structure and development. It also helps to increase water intake and water holding capacity of the soil. And from a chemical standpoint, it has the ability to attract and hold nutrients, especially the ones that occur with positive charges, the cations, and hold those in a form that can later be released and utilized by plants. The other important chemical aspect of humus is that it is serving as a reserve storage site for nutrients which are typically lacking for plant growth, primarily the nitrogen, the phosphorus, and the sulfur, although it holds all of the other nutrients that plants take up and utilize for growth and development as well. What I'd like you to do at this time is to complete your review questions on this unit on soil organisms and soil organic matter and send those in to me prior to the time you start the next unit. Thank you.